I've made 5 updates, and you can see that this was done in 24 hours. And it's absolutely incredible what you can get done when you just put your mind to something and you have the right tools. And in this case, AI is providing excellent tools to developing a website. Welcome to the podcast. It is Zakai. Very nice for you to join us today. We're going to be going over something a bit different. I wanted to share some thoughts about something I've been working on and perhaps get some feedback and intrigue to see how the process is done to make a website now in this day and age. So something that I've been really interested in is coding and software, and preferably like things that are on the digital space and creating like brands and creative projects, things of this nature. And I've always been very motivated to do something that represents who I am on the digital space, especially being Gen Z. It's very common to have this kind of want. And I've been exploring this through a variety of different avenues. And the latest thing that I had found was GitHub Pages. GitHub Pages allows you to create a static website using your GitHub repository. And I have a website up right now that uses GitHub Pages to create this very interesting website with a wrapper called Hugo, which is a really cool Markdown system that allows you to just create sites using Markdown. However, with the rise and advent of AI, I wanted to introduce and show how I have created a completely new and very interesting website that I think is perhaps a lot more innovative, I would say, has a lot more intrigue. So let me share my screen really quickly, because this is kind of crazy what I've done. Only took me about an hour over like the course of a whole entire day, and most of it was actually just spent prompting all of the systems and things. And I want to make sure that it's accessible to as many people, but the best way to learn more and to really get like personal insight is actually to pursue, once I get this website up, my services, and reach out to me in some shape or fashion. So immediately I wanted something that was captivating but also really simple. So I had gone back and forth with backgrounds and things of that nature, and saw like these really cool animated shapes. Like it came into my mind. I'm like, you know what? I can implement these. So I did. So I think that this is a great hero banner and call to action. We have some quick cards about, oh, this is what this guy does. You know, he's pretty cool. Let me zoom in because my screen is a bit big. Currently, what I'm doing, and also a great little footer with all of the appropriate links. Also did this interesting particle field that I worked in ChatGPT to find some really cool um, different animations for these backgrounds. And I thought that the change of color was also very apt. I had also chose these things. Now, part of working on something so quickly is that you don't have time to review. For instance, I didn't do the thesis in 2024. I did the thesis just last week. And speaking of the thesis, we will be getting a very nice, I think, 3-episode part series talking and diving deep into what I did for the thesis. And if there is interest, I will definitely be creating a even longer series that goes into the 40,000 words that I wrote in 3 weeks and how exactly I did that and pursued such a particular feat. I love the academic background, and again, like a little call to action. What you might be noticing as I scroll through these is that there is a shape for each of the tabs, each of the pages. And I wanted to design like the navigation bar to kind of shrink and to do like a little animation while you're scrolling. And I thought that it just keeps everything really compact and tight, very elegant in a way. That's why I picked a serif font to continue that idea. Definitely going to add more to the tools and processes. And you can see that there's placeholders for almost everything, but it got a lot of the facts straight. And I love the way that it just presented everything. The grid. The grid is my favorite. It's really cool. Simple, but unique. And I love the way that these articles are placed, similar to the writing section, research and writing section. Um, it's just really cool. I think another really great animation is this one. Actually, it really comes out really well. On my other screen, the white kind of interrupted with this, but I think it's because the green and yellow aren't like right on it, but sometimes they are. So definitely will need to work on that. It's always good to have a critical eye while you're evaluating anything. You can't just, I know that right now I can't post this directly to my website because it would just be incomplete. It needs to be refined more. So just making sure that we're focusing on that. I love these cards, my services. I'm going to adjust the pricing a little bit, but like definitely think that these are a perfect looking presentation. I don't like how dark this like olive type color. So I'm definitely going to be changing that. I do have testimonials, but it's using placeholders right now. And I love the contact bit. I think that the same thing happens in the contact section. I love this one. This one is really cool because you scroll through and it just has layers, layers, and layers, but you can still see I call it living text in the background. I did notice that they stopped moving. I had these moving before, but it's okay. We'll figure out what's going on there. Um, yeah, the contact page. But yeah, I literally did this within an hour over the course of the day, and it's crazy. Really beautiful, really professional looking. 10 out of 10. Do it again. So let's see how I actually did this. So Claude Code is the actual like workhorse that I used, and I have a GitHub repository called Portfolio. I connected it to Claude Code, and then Claude is currently having a little deal to use Claude Code Cloud with their whole research preview, and you get 250 credits with the Plus plan or a higher amount with the Max plan. I thought this was a wonderful opportunity to spend a little money. Basically, the bulk of everything was done in about 20 bucks. And the more intense version is now down to 30. But I think I might only use 20 more dollars probably um, today and tomorrow working into this. I might try and keep expanding it to, because you can see my usage runs out. So, but definitely a very, inexpensive in comparison to what websites cost now. And to have it up for basically for free, like iconic, like very, very, very iconic. The way that we started was asking a few questions to Claude and then developing like an idea. So I wanted to push and see if GitHub was like the right thing for me. This is why it's super important to not just jump into like developing something immediately. I'm not a, analyst, coder or anything of that nature. So I want to be looking for ways that I can refine my knowledge and first asking about the big picture and seeing what that is really important to making a better decision yourself, as well as guiding the context for the AI, in this case, Sonnet 4.5, which has been excellent with Claude, guiding the AI to properly assess and find like what works for you. So I talked about what I wanted to use. I went through kind of the process, and then we started talking about wireframing. So I wanted to be like, okay, I want this, this, and that. I used these aspects. It used from its memory what I do, as well as other chats in what I do. You'll see that I asked it to reference some things over time. There's a variety of different pathways to go down to getting yourself started. But my point is with all of these prompts is really trying to find the meat and potatoes and pushing back. So like, for instance, it recommended some different forms, but I'm asking like, hey, is there a different form submission thing? I'm not sure if it's that complex. Do we need to do that, etc.? And we're just going through and refining the idea. Again, let's think about this versus this. Let's think about X versus Y. Like, we are very much trying to figure out the best fit. So I decided to do HTML, CSS, and JS. And I do know a little bit about HTML. I took a few classes in, I think, late middle school, early high school about it. But you can see how we start quickly developing into what we see now. The, wine, sage, and steel blue colors you can see in the pages is something that I used immediately to start integrating into the website. And having Claude come up with these text wireframes is super helpful in seeing like the vision and what I, would like to see. So I actually want to bring this back, which is something that it did not particularly do. If it goes into a Z, goes into an R, goes into, that would be very, very apropos. But yeah, we keep pushing, we keep pushing, we keep pushing over time. We see like the overall structure, and we also see how I'm trying to capture leads, how I'm trying to capture content, how I'm trying to capture people into my website, all through the different platforms. Because this isn't going to just serve as a portfolio, but I want it to serve as a place where you can find who I am, you can find more about my story, and you can find my services as well. And not just like, oh, this is what I've done, as like a resume type website, right? So now I'm going to start asking it for prompting. So for the next, like, I think bit here, I'm asking more questions about how to develop the integration between GitHub and my computer locally and all that fun stuff. So I'm just refining again, continuing to refine. But now, once I asked this question or made the statement, Claude Code to build everything. So give me a full step-by-step prompts. So I ask it to do all this, but notice what I immediately ask it at the end, which I think is a very key thing to do. I'm like, hey, okay, I like this. Should I ask Claude Code to evaluate each section? So I was trying to get it to send me this prompt that allows review of the overall dimensions of the code. And what I think is really cool is that Claude can evaluate all those things and create like to-do lists and things of that nature to actually systematically develop whatever website you're in. And it all does this in different branches that you can then push to GitHub. So this is, for instance, the pull requests that I've merged in from chat. Pull requests are basically you are pulling the certain code and lines into the actual main code. So you have different branches of the same code base. And then when you're ready to actually publish everything to the main, you're pulling from a different branch to make that the actual main. I think that that's the best way of describing it. I am not a computer scientist. So in essence, I'm just updating over time. And I've made 5 updates, and you can see that this was done in 24 hours. I mean, it's absolutely incredible what you can get done when you just put your mind to something and you have the right tools. And in this case, AI is providing excellent tools to developing a website. If you want to see a comparison to my website, you should find my website, which should be in my link tree. And I'll put it in the description below. I want you to look at it if you want to see the difference. But please give me some feedback on what you're thinking for this new and improved site and all the fun stuff that's within. I think that this is a pretty excellent demo and really needs a little bit of polishing and refinement, more text, more engagement, a little less fluff, replacing the images, all that fun stuff, and all the recommendations I left throughout this video to get it to the pinnacle point. But to be there so fast and to be so innovative, that's the kind of stuff that we are all looking for when we have these types of grand ideas. And if you're looking for someone to do that for you, I seriously do not mind putting in the time with a little bit of payment. So, thank you for watching the podcast. I hope that you learned something pretty cool in this video. The rise of AI brings an ethical dilemma, and I definitely will be talking about that at some point soon through a media deep dive. And also, I hope that you're looking forward to the thesis defense. I passed with distinction, which is a wonderful thing to be able to say, and I'm really proud of all the work that I've put in over probably 2 months, but it was really a race for 3 to 4 weeks to actually get this done. Not procrastination, but that's a story for another time. So you have a great, wonderful day or night wherever you are, and hopefully you come back soon. Please subscribe. See you.